Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wisdom and Wit, the show that's as unpredictable as a Louisiana gator in heat. I'm Jimmy, your guide through this swamp of comedy. Now, buckle up, cause we're about to take a wild ride through the murky waters of politics, and I promise you, it's going to get weirder than a crawfish doing the Macarena. So, have you all heard about this bipartisan agreement breakdown? It's like watching two alligators fighting over the last piece of chicken. Except the chicken is our government funding, and we're all sitting here hoping we don't get bit in the process. Now, I ain't one to point fingers, but Hakeem Jeffries is out there accusing House Republicans of breaking this agreement faster than a teenage boy's voice at a Britney Spears concert. And let me tell you, when politicians start throwing around words like bipartisan, it usually means about as much as a screen door on a submarine. But here's the thing, folks. This whole situation reminds me of the time my cousin Bubba tried to organize a family reunion. He had it all planned out. The food, the games, even hired a clown. But then Aunt Mabel found out Uncle Joe was bringing his new girlfriend. And suddenly, it was like someone dropped a live catfish in the punch bowl. See? Bubba thought he had this bipartisan agreement with the family. But faster than you can say crawdad boil, the whole thing fell apart. Next thing you know, half the family's boycotting, the other half's plotting revenge. And poor Bubba's standing there wondering how he's going to explain to the clown why he needs to juggle live chickens instead of bowling pins. And that's when things got weird. 'Cause in politics, just like at a family reunion, there's always that one person who decides to stir the pot. In this case, we got ourselves a whole gumbo of troublemakers. First up, we got our boy Trump. Now, I love Trump more than a hog loves mud, but when he starts firing off on Truth Social, it's like watching your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving dinner. You know it's going to be entertaining, but you're also kind of worried about what the neighbors might think. Trump's out there calling this bill ridiculous and extraordinarily expensive, which, let's be honest, is how most of us feel about our ex-wives, am I right? But here's the kicker. He's warning that passing this thing without addressing the debt ceiling is like trying to fix a leaky roof by adding more holes. It just don't make no sense. And then we got Elon Musk jumping into the fray. Now, I ain't saying Elon's smart, but the man makes rocket ships for fun. When he calls something full of pork, you know it ain't just a compliment to your mama's cooking. Musk is out there telling Jeffries that the public ain't dumb. Which is true, 'cause if we were, we'd all be trying to colonize Mars instead of figuring out how to pay our electric bills. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. Trump's saying any Republican who supports this clean CR without negotiations should expect to be primaried. Now, for those of you who don't speak political, that's like telling your kids if they don't eat their vegetables, they're going to wake up and find all their toys replaced with educational books. It's a threat that'll keep you up at night. And let me tell you, the way things are going, we might need to start a new reality show, Survivor. Capitol Hill edition. Last one to avoid a government shutdown wins a lifetime supply of taxpayer-funded headaches. But seriously, folks, this whole situation is messier than a pig in a mud wrestling contest. We got a 547-page CR that's supposed to keep the lights on till March. That's more pages than my high school yearbook and probably just as useless. And get this, they're even talking about giving themselves a pay raise. First time since 2009. Now, I ain't no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure if I went to my boss and said, "Hey, I've been doing a terrible job for 15 years. How about a raise?" I'd be out on my keister faster than a greased pig at a county fair. Yeah, I went there, and I'm going even further. 'Cause this whole situation is like watching a bunch of kids fighting over the last cookie in the jar, except the cookie is our hard-earned tax dollars, and the kids are all old enough to know better. But hey, that's politics for you. It's like wrestling a greased pig. It's messy, it's frustrating, and at the end of the day, everybody needs a shower. Now, folks, I could go on all night about this, but I think it's time we hear from someone who knows a thing or two about making deals. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the man who could sell ice to an Eskimo and make him think he got a bargain, Donald Trump.
Well, thank you kindly, Benji. I haven't been this excited since I found out my cousin's wedding was BYOB. Bring your own brother. Now, y'all heard about this spending bill that's got everyone's panties in a twist.
It's like Congress decided to play Santa Claus with our tax dollars, but instead of leaving presents under the tree, they're stuffing their own stockings.
First off, they want a 4% pay raise. That's an extra $6,600 a year.
I haven't seen that kind of raise since my ex-husband's blood pressure after I told him I was keeping the dog in the divorce.
And get this, they want to exempt themselves from Obamacare.
That's right, folks.
They're basically saying, we made this bed, but we sure as hell ain't gonna lie in it. It's like they're playing healthcare hopscotch, and we're all stuck in the hospital square.
But wait, there's more. They're throwing in $100 billion for disaster relief.
Now, I'm all for helping folks in need, but with the way Congress spends money, that disaster relief might just cause another disaster. It's like trying to put out a fire with a flamethrower.
And don't even get me started on that $8 billion for rebuilding the Francis Scott Key Bridge. I haven't seen that much money thrown at a collapsed structure since Kim Kardashian's last marriage.
You know who's not happy about all this? Our boy Elon Musk.
He's threatening to support primary challenges against any Republican who votes for this bill.
It's like he's playing political whack-a-mole, but instead of a mallet, he's using his Twitter account.
Even President-elect Trump is saying he's totally against this legislation.
When Trump thinks something's too expensive, you know it's bad. It's like when my Uncle Earl says a moonshine still is too complicated. You better believe something's off. Now let's talk about this national debt. We're sitting pretty at $36 trillion with a deficit of $1.8 trillion.
That's more zeros than I've gotten on Tinder.
It's like we're playing Monopoly, but instead of fake money, we're using our children's future. You know what's funny?
They're trying to sneak in all these little extras like a bill about composting and recycling programs. It's like they're trying to hide vegetables in our financial meatloaf.
Sorry, Congress, but we can still taste the BS.
And don't even get me started on this State Department agency they want to reauthorize. Apparently, it's been adding folks to a blacklist for speculating about COVID-19.
Hell, if they blacklisted everyone with a crazy theory about that virus, Facebook would be emptier than a vegan barbecue. You know, all this reminds me of my last trip to the all-you-can-eat buffet. I went in.
Next thing I know, I'm elbow deep in the macaroni cheese, there's a dinner roll in my purse, and I'm eyeing the dessert bar like it owes me money.
That's Congress for ya? No self-control and always going back for seconds.
But here's the kicker, folks.
While they're busy arguing over who gets what slice of the American pie, us regular folks are left wondering if we'll even get the crumbs. It's like watching a bunch of seagulls fight over a French fry while the rest of us are stuck eating sand.
So, what's the moral of this story? Well, I reckon it's this. If you ever feel useless, just remember that somewhere out there's a taxpayer suggestion box in Washington, D.C.
And that, my friends, is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine.
Well, folks, that's all the time I've got.
Remember, if voting changed anything, they'd make it illegal.
Good night, and may your tax returns be ever in your favor.